Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over a guide for Season 3 of the VDL, as well as in the back half of the video, doing some tips and tricks for your first time drafting. So whether you're a Shaman Division coach just getting started, or even a Mew Division coach who has been around for a while, you might learn something today, so stay tuned. I'm going to have this video broken down into sections, so if there's something you really want to know about, make sure to check that out down below, but if you just want some general knowledge on everything, just stay tuned for the whole video. So just a few general rules. The VDL regular season will be going 8 weeks long, and the top 8 coaches will be going into playoffs, so there is a chance that you will not play every other coach in your division. Please be respectful of all coaches and moderators in the VDL. Forfeiting a match mid-battle will not be tolerated. It will result in termination from the league. We understand that things happen. This is just a hobby for everyone, but if you miss a battle without a valid reason, you will get a warning. The second time this happens, you will be asked to step down as a coach. Now, this doesn't mean that if you just miss a scheduled time, you're going to be in trouble, but if you miss the entire week and you don't really tell anyone what's going on, you don't try to reach out to your opponent and schedule, we're going to take that as you just not caring about the league, and so that you're going to get a warning, and if this happens again, it's obviously going to be a repetitive behavior that we're going to keep seeing, so we ask you to step down. When it comes to actually drafting, you get 110 points to pick exactly 11 Pokemon. It can't be 10 Pokemon, it can't be 12 Pokemon, it has to be 11. All Pokemon costs are listed on the draft board tab of the sheet. I feel like this one's semi-obvious, but if someone else picks a Pokemon, you may not pick it. That's what makes this a draft league. This is very important, so please listen closely. For the first round of the draft, each person will get an 8-hour individual timer. After the first round concludes, for the rest of the draft, each person will get a 4-hour timer per round. If you do not make a pick within those 4 hours, you will be skipped and your time will be cut in half for the remainder of the draft. So every pick after that, you will only have 2 hours, and if you miss it a second time, you'll have 1 hour. You will make up the missed picks at the end of the draft. So you don't miss any picks. It is highly, highly, highly recommended that you leave what Pokemon you want, as well as some backups in case that Pokemon gets taken, with a moderator. We would prefer if you leave it with the moderator in your division, but if one of them is not available, any moderator will take your pick. This ensures that the draft goes quickly and people are not getting skipped. Once again, just want to say it, please leave your picks with a moderator. Whether you plan on being online or not, it makes things go quickly if a moderator can go, oh, this person wants this pick, this person wants this pick, this pick, this pick, this pick, this pick, and we can go through and just get like 10 coaches out of the way all at once. It's a lot easier than waiting an hour for each person to come and drop their pick. If you draft any of these following Pokemon, that you will get access to all of their forms, but you can only bring one per battle. Those following Pokemon being Oricorio, Toxtricity, Indeedee, Oinkologne, Squawkabilly, Basculin, Basculegion. Smogon Species Clause does apply to your draft as well, so if you pick up Rotom Wash, you cannot also pick up Rotom Mow. Since they both have the same Pokedex numbers, you can only pick up one of them. One thing I forgot to mention when I was talking about your picks and the timer, it is a snake-style draft. So draft position number 1 will pick, it'll go 1 through 12, and then that 12th person will pick 2 Pokemon, and it'll go backwards, 11, 10, 9, 8, and it will continue to snake until each coach has 11 Pokemon. Each coach gets 5 free agent trades for the season. That means you can drop one Pokemon and pick up another as long as it's within your point bracket. Also, once the draft concludes, there will be a 12-hour grace period for you to make as many changes to your team as you want. When it comes to Tera Captains, each team gets a maximum of 2 Tera Captains for a total of 15 points. The points are determined by how much they are worth in the draft board. To be a valid Tera Captain, the Pokemon must be worth 10 points or less, with a few exceptions, those being on the draft board. Each Pokemon gets 3 possible Tera types. One of those 3 types must be a stab type. When it comes to the battle rules, all battles must be played on PokemonShowdown.com in the Gen 9 Paldea Dex draft tier. All normal Smogon clauses do apply, one exception being Baton Pass clause has been altered a little bit. In draft, Pokemon can use Baton Pass, but it's what we call a dry Baton Pass. What that means is a Pokemon can use the move Baton Pass as a switch move, but they cannot pass any stat boosts or substitutes. If you have a stat drop and you pass it with Baton Pass, though, that is not a big deal because it only negatively affects you. All replays must be posted in your replay channel in the Discord server. Final thing, there are a few Pokemon-specific bans that are available on the draft board for you to see. As you can see here, there is a little black triangle on Greninja's box. If I hover over Greninja, it will actually tell me that Battle Bond is banned. A few different Pokemon have these complex bands, such as Greninja, Landorus Incarnate, Shaman, Venusaur, as well as Araquanid, so be sure to check the entire draft page so that you're aware of these bands. That is it for rules for the VDL. Now we're going to hop into some tips and tricks for drafting. Alright, this is the prep document that I use to prep for all of my games. If you're interested in the link for this, I will have it down in the description. You just have to make a copy for yourself. So how it works is here I'm on the team screen. So this will show you all of the teams that you have, as well as if they're a Z Captain or a Tera Captain, and the amount of points that they cost. Up here you select the format, so this is my Generation 6 League, which is why I have it set to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And then in this column you put your opponent's Pokemon, same thing with either their Z or their Tera Captains. You can have up to 10 different teams here on this screen. On the Matchup Center tab, this is where you can actually compare yours and your opponent's teams. So up at the top here, you select which team you want to look at. So we're going to be looking at Team 1, so we can see my team and my opponent's team here. This will show me all of the typings and abilities that those Pokemon can have. If we scroll down, we can see them in sprite view, as well as seeing their speed tiers. If you notice the Zangoose, Feraligatr, and Scrafty have purple behind them, that means that they are Tera Captains. If you see yellow or orange behind them, that means they are Z Captains. If we scroll down a little farther, I know it's cut off a little bit, but this will show you the type chart. So on this, it shows which Pokemon are weak to which types, and what types you have common weaknesses to. So if you look here, it has red down here on the Ice type, because my team is fairly weak to Ice type Pokemon. Here we have all of the Pokemon stats where you can actually sort by their stats, so it'll highlight their whatever stat you have selected. So I see here Fortress has my highest defense, but if I want to see speed, I see Mega Lopunny has the highest speed if I want to know attack, and so on. It'll also break down which moves your opponent has. So right here, this is like a hazards category, and I can collapse it on the side here. We have healing and cleric moves. We have momentum, switch moves, priority, and there's a whole bunch of different things. So this really gives you everything you need to know about your and your opponent's team, so you can figure out the best way to tackle that battle. So this is the Draft HQ. This is where you can actually take a look at the draft that you're currently building. So you can see here it lists the Pokemon. You can select whether they're a Tera Captain or a Z Captain, and you can actually put how many points they're listed at. If you notice down here, you can put your budget in. So say my budget is 110 like it is for the VDL. I'd put that in here, and after the 13 points it costs for Scissor, it tells me I have 97 remaining. You can also look at stats here. You can look at moves, so if I wanted to see specifically which of my Pokemon learned Wish, I could type that in here, and it would sort by all the Pokemon on this build that learn Wish, which for example here would only be Salamence. It also shows me my types, so as you see down here, I have 0 Fairy types on this team. I also have no Dark types, and then it shows me the effectiveness for each Pokemon, so it really helps you visualize the team that you're building. A few things that me and the moderators wanted to let you know to focus on when you're drafting: you want to make sure you have good hazard setters as well as hazard removal, whether that be Rapid Spin or Defog. As well as a very important one, you want a grounded poison type. That does not mean a ground and poison type like Clodsire, Nidoking, or Nidoqueen. I mean a poison type that is physically touching the ground, like Venusaur here on this team. An example of a non-grounded poison type would be Crobat, since it is flying. You want this so it's able to absorb toxic spikes upon switching, because those can be a huge problem in draft. Besides that, just make sure your team has synergy together. Their speed stats aren't all the same. You want them to be somewhat different. This team I have here is a very bad example because I have 110, 109, 106, 100. Those are all very similar. You want those to be semi-spread apart, about 10 to 15 points if you can. As well as just making sure generally you don't have too many shared weaknesses. Like on this team here, I have a ton of weaknesses to rock, and I only have 1 resistant in Iron Treads. But yeah, that is all I have for you. I wish everyone the best of luck in VDL Season 3. My DMs are always open, so if you need to reach out, don't hesitate to. And yeah, that'll be it. I'll see you guys later. Peace.